All right, here we go. So today's opener is a good review before you guys take your quiz here shortly. Just FYI, your quiz, I believe, only has 2 questions, and it is 13 points. So it's worth 13 points. Okay, let's take a look at it. So solve each system of inequalities by graphing. It's been a while since we've done these. So the first one, I have x is greater than -1. So how am I going to graph that? Chance, how am I going to graph this?
You could put the -1 on the x.
That is correct. Then what?
You could put the -3 on the y.
Oh, wait. Finish -1 for me. Solid or dashed?
Definitely dashed.
Horizontal or vertical?
Horizontal. Bucks, vertical.
Okay. And you said dashed, so I'll get there.
It's a lot better than I used to.
Because I have a new system. If you were awake last week, you would have heard about it.
No, I definitely did, because you draw, when your students is like, I just draw a straight line, like a straight line.
And then
erase
I just erase it. Yeah, you were there. You were alive. Okay,
I
now
was definitely sleeping, but
we're going to go ahead and shade this. But because it's a vertical line, it's really hard to do if it's greater above, it's less than below, because the vertical line doesn't really have above or below. So what am I going to have to use in order to determine what I'm going to shade here?
Just straight to the right.
Well, let's double check it. Test point. Good. So what's the test point that I usually use?
0, 0.
0, 0. So what do I substitute for my x?
0.
0. Is 0 greater than -1?
Yes.
So I am, as Chance said, going to shade to the...
Definitely it's going to use the arrows.
Okay. Let's take a look at the next one. Okay, so now we have y is less than or equal to -3. So go ahead, you were getting ready to graph this one for me.
You put the -3 on the y.
So I go down 3 on the y. Okay. What kind of line am I going to draw?
Horizontal.
Horizontal, and is it going to be solid or dashed?
Solid.
Solid.
It's
Tell
going
me
to be.
this is mine.
And because it's less than or equal to, do I shade above or below my line? Below. Bless you. So the solution is going to be where the colors overlap there. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Oh, yes. You knew.
Does anyone else's stomach hurt?
Yeah.
Yes, you may. Go ahead.
Started pain like right here.
Yep.
All right, let's take a look at our next one. Our next one is going to be fairly similar to the one that we just completed. So I have y is greater, before y'all leave, we're going to wipe down our desk. So y is greater than 2. So where am I going to graph this y, Riley? I go up 2, solid or dashed? Dashed, horizontal or vertical? Are you feeling okay?
Yeah.
Okay, see?
Everybody's sleeping.
Oh,
Does anyone have 0.7 lead?
Nope, 0.5. Okay, so am I going to shade above or below? Above. All right. Then we have x is less than -2. So I go to my, because it's x, I go to my x-axis. Go to -2. Is it going to be solid or dashed? It's going to be dashed. That dash line wasn't as good, but that's okay. And then for this one, I'm going to have to pick a test point. What's my test point going to be?
0, 0.
Okay, if I substitute, is 0 greater than, is 0 less than -2?
Yes. No.
Okay, because it's false, because 0 is not less than -2, because it's false, I shade away.
To the left.
Good. Now, if you would write this down and get your points, that'd be even better. So I know you know it. Now,
I've done most of them.
the front, I know you have.
I should just get the points.
The front was pretty easy, right? Or hopefully it was.
Yes.
The back side is going to be a little bit more challenging. Dylan, for now.
So I don't have a pencil.
Okay, let's take a look at the back. Go ahead.
Did you take his pencil?
No, no. Anything for you, sir. We'll get you situated. Okay, so we have y is greater than x plus 3, and y is less than or equal to negative 1. So what's this first inequality written in? What form?
MX plus B.
Slope-intercept. Good. Mx plus b. So what do I graph first?
3.
The 3. So I graph that on my y-axis for my y-intercept. And then from there, I graph the slope, which is,
1 over 1.
okay, now I went 3 points at least. And then when I go to plot or put in my line, it's going to be solid or dashed. Dashed. Okay. So I have the greater than sign. According to my notes, when it says greater than, am I going to shade above or below my line?
Above.
Above is correct. Okay.
Is that Emily?
So now I have y is less than or equal to negative 1. Where do I graph this negative 1?
Go down 1.
Yeah, I go down 1. What kind of line am I going to have? Horizontal or vertical? Because I have no slope, right? There's no x there, so there's no slope. So what kind of line am I going to have? For y? Horizontal. And is it going to be dashed or solid? It's going to be solid. And then the next part I check, it says y is less than. So do I shade above or below? Below. Do they overlap anywhere?
Yeah.
Just an itty bitty spot, right? If I were to ask you the solution of this, how would you give me that answer? You would write it as an what?
Fraction.
No, not as a
Ordered
fraction.
pair.
As an ordered pair. And how would you find what that ordered pair is? It's hard to see on mine. It's,
Right there.
yeah, right there. How do you know it's right there?
Because it's where they correspond.
Because my fault.
Or where they interact? Yep.
Yeah.
Or intercept?
Yeah.
Interact, intercept, correspond, you know.
Yeah.
It's where they cross one another. Good. You're welcome for this last one because I'm making you do all kinds of work, aren't I? Why am I, what do you mean, or what do I mean by I'm making you guys do all kinds of work here?
Because the X and Y are
Okay, and my goal is that they have to be written in what form? And because they're not in slope-intercept form, I have to write them in slope-intercept form. In order for them to be in slope-intercept form, what has to be by itself?
X and Y.
Which variable do I want by itself in order for it to be slope-intercept form?
Y.
Y. So I have to get rid of the x, and I do that by on both sides. Good. And so when I go to rewrite this, it's going to be y is less than or equal to what?
Negative X.
Minus 1. Let's go ahead and graph this one. So we basically just finished this top one here. So if I graph it, where do I go? I start my origin and go,
1, negative 1.
and then my slope,
1 over 1.
do I go up or down? Because it's a negative 1.
So down.
Down 1 to the right 1. Down 1 to the right 1. Okay, and when I go to graph my line, solid or dashed? You guys, I feel like you're doing a really good job. Do you guys feel like you're getting it pretty good? Okay, less than. So do I go above or below my line? If it's less than or equal to, do I go above or below my line?
Below.
So I'm going to go below my line here. Okay, good. My first inequality is completed. So let's take a look at my second one. My second one is x plus y is greater than or equal to 3. You guys told me on the previous problem, in order to get it in slope-intercept form, I want to get the y by itself. So here I'm going to get rid of the x. So I'm going to subtract x from both sides. So I have y is greater than or equal to...
-3 plus 3.
Say that again. I can't hear you, Ben.
-3 plus 3.
No.
I mean, negative x plus 3.
There we go. And when I go to graph it, start at my origin,
Up 3.
okay, 1, 2, 3, and then for my slope,
Down over 1.
and my line,
Solid.
and my shading.
Would it be above?
My answer,
A circle of a line, right?
which means
No solution.
no solution. Nice job.